Welcome to my channel, where we discuss everything and all things politics, economy, and development in Nigeria and around the world. Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka has again spoken on Peter Obi and the Obidients. It seems his obsession with Peter Obi and the Obidients is one thing that we have to live with for a long time to come. Recently, he was asked a question that has, ordinarily, you look at that question, it will have nothing to do with the Obidients or Peter Obi. But he had to drag Peter Obi and the Obidients in his response to a question. Here I'm talking about Professor Wole Soyinka's statement that he cannot conceive for a moment mature people calling themselves Obidients. Wole Soyinka said, I cannot conceive for a moment mature people calling themselves Obidients. Now, in any case, what is obedience? Who are the Obidients? Obidients are people who believe in the future that Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of Labour Party, was or is looking for Nigeria. A Nigeria that works. A Nigeria that people can take back their country and extricate it from the stranglehold of corrupt politicians and racketeers and rate seekers. That is what obedience means. Those who believe in the philosophy of Peter Obi in governance, a governance that puts the country first above self. A governance that will be corruption free, a governance that will not be a thieving governance, different from what have been witnessed in this country since 1999, where the PDP started the stealing of national resources and the APC took the stealing to the next level. A new Nigeria. And they use, those who support Peter Obi coined that phrase, obedient. That obedient is no different from people today in America that say, I'm a Reagan Republican. You see many Americans today, they say, I'm a Reagan Republican. You see some say, I'm a Trump Republican. I'm a Bush Republican. Why did they say that? It is because there are those who believe in the philosophy that was espoused under the Ronald Reagan presidency as the leader of the United States and also as the leader of the Republican Party. It is no different from those who call themselves Zikists. There were those who call themselves in this country that they are Zikists. They are part of the Zik, the Tonamdi Azikiwe movement or the Zik movement. Our literature of politics or political discourse is littered with Zikism. There are those who call themselves today that they are Awoyis. People like the late Bola Ige and several other people. So if Professor Soyinka could not imagine why people can call themselves Awoyis, mature people call themselves Awoyists, including some of those he's supporting today now. They want to claim that they are Awoyists, that Awo shaped their political philosophy or view in politics. There are those who are of Zikist ideology. And these are mature people too. So I don't understand why Wole Soyinka will say that you cannot understand why mature people will say that they are obedience. I'm shocked by this, the way this man goes about this, his obsession with Peter Obi on the obedience. He said he could not conceive for a moment of mature people calling themselves obedience. Now, Professor Wole Soyinka was answering a question posed to him on the issue of power and freedom. He was speaking, the topic of discussion was power and freedom. Now, if you look at it, power and freedom is not an issue that you may need to bring the obedience inside. One, the obedience, Obi and the obedience are not the ones in power. He could have used other examples to buttress whatever he want to say. But look at what he said. He said those calling themselves obedience had already indicated submissiveness. So those who are calling themselves obedient had already indicated submissiveness to someone. Obedience doesn't mean submissiveness to someone. It is submissiveness to a particular ideology. Ideology of a Nigeria without corruption. Ideology of a Nigeria where leaders will not be allowed to be stealing our money. Ideology of looking inward, using made in Nigeria products, not just by saying it. Bola Ahmed Tinubu telling you use made in Nigeria, but meanwhile he is using Mercedes that are produced abroad. That's not what we are talking about. The real context of looking inward and solving our problem inward, using our resources, and ensure that we produce more. Ideology that is based on taking Nigeria from consumption to production, unlike what we have now. That is not submissiveness, it's a philosophy to extricate Nigeria away from rent-sinking politicians and corrupt oligarchs. That's what Peter Obi represents. It's not submissiveness. In fact, Peter Obi himself has been attacked by the obedience when Peter Obi stepped out of line, in line with what they expect him to do. You see the obedience, they will tell him, no, you can't tell us what to do. Because in any case, the obedience are amorphous. The obedience are not only those you see on social media. Obedience are everywhere. It was during the election that Nigerians realized that there is virtually no household in Nigeria that you don't have obedience. And it showed in the result of the election, the real result of the election. So that is you can't use the obedience to show submissiveness. Those who talk about submissiveness are those who are creators of cultism or cultic groups. Because in cult groups, cultists are made to be submissive to their bosses, to those who created them. Cultists are much more submissive. I saw that in the story Soyinka was talking about religion, people submissive to religion and all that. Then he added obedient inside. But the cultists are much more dangerous. That's why they're creating stabilities in our universities, colleges of education, and politics, and the polytechnics. Today, cultism is ravaging many states in southern Nigeria. Even outside it, when we are growing up, when we are in the university, cultism was mainly something restricted to universities. Now, cultism has spread to even secondary school. And they have destroyed the social fabric of this nation. So those who created cultism, those who practice cultism are those who pose much more problem to the society than those who follow the political ideology of the Obidients. So if there's anything to criticize, or if you are looking for organization that has declared submissiveness to one person or one ideology at the risk of their lives, it is the cultism, the cultists, and those who promoted them and created them to the level that they have become a menace in our society. But those calling themselves Obidients, they use Peter Obi as a model because of his transparency and his accountability. Now, if you are talking about submissiveness, who has enjoyed more submissiveness than the friend of Professor Wole Soyinka? We are talking about Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has enjoyed submissiveness of unprecedented proportion. He has Lagos in his pocket like so many nickels and diamonds since 1999, determining who gets what. If you don't submit to him, you can't be governor of Lagos State. If you don't submit to him, you can't be a senator or a House of Reps member in Lagos State. If you overlook him and you're there, it's only temporary, like the time that PDP was able to win some seats in Lagos State, from Lagos State to the House of Representatives. That was the only time that you have people who can get to Abuja from Lagos, who are not from his pocket. And he didn't forgive that. He didn't forgive President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, under whose government that thing happened. And he fought Jonathan until Jonathan was chased out of power, literally. So the submissiveness that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as the godfather of Lagos, is demanding and that he commands since 1999, that is the kind of power submissiveness that I expected Professor Soyinka to talk about. And I have not seen where he condemned a city like Lagos, a state like Lagos, probably the most cosmopolitan city in Nigeria, in Africa, a city that should be in the same bracket with the New York, the Big Apple, they call it New York. But one man had it in his pocket since 1999. And Lagosians have to submit to him. And it was that revolt against that submissiveness that they answered him in the last election by voting overwhelmingly against him. But I didn't see Wole Soyinka, because he was talking about power. The issue that on discussion was about power. And Tinubu is a power holder in Lagos, and powers that submit to him. Soyinka did not find it necessary to use that to show that that is the kind of thing he could not understand. How matured people in Lagos should be submissive to one man since 1999. For over 2 decades. That should have been something he used to give an example. I'm not talking about obedience, being submissive to one man. It is Lagosians being submissive to one man since 1999, unbroken. That is what should worry him about power, and not about the obedience. Because the issue that he was called to talk about was the issue of power and freedom. Can you say that Lagosians are free when power had been with one man since 1999? What kind of submissiveness have we not seen in Lagos? That power resides with one man since 1999 to date, for over 2 decades. And Wole Soyinka did not use it to give an example of submission to one man, because that is much more terrible than to talk about the submissiveness of obedience. That obedience means that they are submissive to one man, to someone. But he's not bothered about the real submissiveness of the power of Lagos in one man. That a city, a state like Lagos, a cosmopolitan area like that, is in the pocket of one man. It's like what Mario Puzo used to describe, like when he was talking about the 5 dons and the Godfather. Talk about having so many nickels and diamonds in your pocket, and you give it out to who you like. That's how Tinubu has so much, literally, so much nickels and diamonds in his pocket, and he shares it to whoever you want to. That's the concept of his own use of power. Nobody challenges him. That is the kind of submissiveness that should bother Professor Wole Soyinka as a professor and a social critic, because that one is a reality that we are living with in Nigeria today. If the issue he was discussing about was about power and freedom, how can one man be in power since 1999 through surrogates? Since his first tenure finished in 2007, Bola Ahmed Tinubu had been in charge of Lagos through his surrogates, all submissive to him. And Wole Soyinka is wondering, why is it that obedience, mature people are submissive to someone? That's why there's a local proverb that said that when you are pointing one finger to one finger at a person, the other 4 fingers are pointing back at you. That's what Wole Soyinka should reflect on. Between the submissiveness of the political structure of political leaders in Lagos to Tinubu, and then the submissiveness of the obedience to Peter Obi, which one is more troubling in Nigeria we live today? That's my take on Professor Wole Soyinka's assertion that he cannot conceive for a moment mature people calling themselves obedience. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like this video, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.